But Jonah rose up to flee unto Tarshish from the presence of the Lord, and went down to Joppa. And he found a ship going to Tarshish. So he paid the fare thereof, and went down into it, to go with them unto Tarshish from the presence of the Lord. But the Lord sent out a great wind into the sea, and there was a mighty tempest in the sea, so that the ship was like to be broken. Jonah 1, 3-4. You see in Jonah's flight the very story of our self-imposed exile from the presence we claim to serve. He steps aboard a vessel, his imagined safety, paying the fare to Tarshish, thinking to outrun that still small voice. Yet within every human breast the great wind of spirit blows, and the tempest arises to shatter our false refuges. Tarshish is no distant shore, but the land of self-will, where we think our will can stand apart from divine purpose. The ship is our body and mind, the hollow shell we trust to bear us beyond the call of God. But look, God sends the great wind into the sea. That wind is your own creative power, waking, stirring every wave of feeling you've denied. The tempest breaks the vessel when you clutch to human limitation, for the false self cannot endure the presence it would avoid. In that breaking you face the paradox. You who fled are the very breath of God that moves the sea of your consciousness. The gale drives you inward until you can no longer hide beneath the deck of opinion. You must surface, crying, "It is I." Only then, cast overboard into the waters of your own being, do you discover the promise, your appointed plan to rise as God in you. Thus Christmas comes, not the infant of some distant cradle, but the moment when you, the fugitive, are undone by spirit's storm and reborn into your divine estate. The flood subsides, the wind abates, and the ruined ship becomes the ark of your awareness. You no longer flee but stand revealed, man as God, the storm's victory over your self-imprisonment. Accept the blast. Let the soul's vessel break. In that glorious wreckage you find your home in the presence, and the great play goes on. Only now you star as the Father you always were. In these two verses, Jonah's hurried escape by ship represents the common human habit of fleeing our inner divine presence. Psychologically, it charts two states of consciousness. First, the runaway mind that seeks safety in lower desires, Tarshish, and second, the rising storm of inner conflict when we ignore our deeper calling. The wind and tempest are not out there, but are the turbulent emotions and thoughts we stir up by denying our essential unity with the source. Metaphysically, Jonah's trip illustrates how imagination and feeling are the engines of creation. By boarding the ship, an image of the body as vessel, we set in motion the emotional currents that generate outward circumstances. The great wind is the power of consciousness to move forces in our lives. The ensuing storm is the inevitable clash when our inner desires contradict our true nature. In this drama, thought begets form, and emotion gives it power. What this reveals is that you, like Jonah, are both the sailor and the sea. You are the creative mind and the world it reflects. Your divine power lies in choosing to anchor in presence rather than panic in separation. When you recognize that the same consciousness that sends out the wind also sustains calm, you reclaim the will of your higher self. The storm ceases the moment you realize that you never left the abyss of God's own being. Begin by pausing for a moment and quietly naming the ship you have boarded, the familiar thought pattern that carries you away. As you give it a name, feel the emotional storm it has stirred within you, and notice this turmoil as nothing more than a creation of your own mind. Then, gently turn your attention inward and affirm your unity with the divine, acknowledging the ever-present I Am presence that lives at your core. Invite a vivid image of your inner seas growing still, the winds of agitation softening until your vessel rests in gentle calm. Hold that peaceful state for as long as possible, and allow your body to move and speak with the same composed assurance that now fills your spirit. As you master this simple inward pivot from frantic flight into serene surrender, you will witness life's tempests transforming into placid waters. In embracing this graceful shift, you stand as the Lord of wind and wave, the almighty creator of your own experience.